Honored with the Emmy for News Excellence. News 5, on your side, starts now.
Now at 5, the deaths piling up and the calls to put down e-cigarettes getting louder. Will Ohio soon join the vaping crackdown?
Plus, new video tonight of how an American woman with Ohio ties allegedly tried to smuggle a newborn out of the Philippines. And who else is now facing charges?
And a community garden in Cleveland Heights uprooted in broad daylight.
I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable to me.
Why this setback could actually be a blessing in disguise.
Here it is, our baby.
Meantime, more deaths linked to vaping rocking the e-cigarette community.
Yes, it is. 4 people have now died. The latest deaths in Minnesota and Indiana. As concerns about the dangers of e-cigarette use are growing, several states are taking steps toward stricter laws. But what are we doing here in Ohio to address growing concerns?
News 5's Emily Hamilton live in the newsroom with the latest.
Frank and Danita, as we reported earlier this week, Michigan became the first state to ban flavored e-cigarette cartridges. Medical experts in New York are also looking into several respiratory illnesses linked to a chemical called vitamin E acetate. And Ohio health officials say they hope the Buckeye State isn't far behind. In recent years, vapes and e-cigarettes have been flying off the shelves, and manufacturers made them very appealing to teens and young adults.
That's the whole reason why they use these sugary, sweet flavorings like cotton candy and bubble gum and Fruit Loops.
Today, the CDC held a press conference attempting to address the national concerns.
Until we continue the investigation of more information to avoid use of e-cigarettes, but emphasizing that things should not be added and things should not be mixed.
Ken Fletcher oversees both the Ohio and Michigan branches of the American Lung Association. He says these products have only been around for a decade, so the long-term health effects are unknown.
They have been billing these since their inception as being clean and safer and healthier, and quite frankly, there's just not the data to back that up. Frankly, there's not the data to back
Cartridges will make vaping less appealing, but Ohio lawmakers are taking steps to curb tobacco use.
That's going to have a huge impact by keeping those products out of the hands of those who are under the age of 21. So Ohio is doing great things and making some progress in this area as well.
And beginning October 1st, you must be 21 years old to legally buy tobacco and vape products here in Ohio. However, people who are 18 years or older by that date will still be legally allowed to buy those products. Live in the newsroom, Emily Hamilton, News 5.
Emily, thank you. In World News with David Muir, we'll have more on the vaping deaths that are rocking the e-cigarette community coming up at 6:30. That's right after News 5 at 6.
We have new details tonight on the arrest of Cleveland Mayor's grandson, Frank Q. Jackson. That arrest coming after the U.S. Marshals reached out to the mayor to arrange his grandson's surrender. The U.S. Marshals Service telling News 5 they talked about whether the younger Jackson would turn himself in or whether a task force would have to track him down. Frank Q. Jackson was indicted on several felony charges this week in connection with a June altercation at a gas station and outside a private residence.
A Youngstown area doctor accused of raping a 12-year-old girl he met online in Ashland County. Now facing additional charges, Albert Ayad Tas has been indicted on 4 counts of child sex trafficking and 1 count of the production of child pornography. Authorities say he allegedly used threats of force, fraud, or other coercion to cause 3 children to engage in sex acts. After years of fights, Ohio has officially started its purge today of voter registrations. But according to the Columbus Dispatch, Ohio's Secretary of State did order the county boards of elections to keep some of the 235,000 at-risk registrations on the rolls for reasons like vendor mistakes or missing voting history. The state sent last chance notices to folks who haven't voted in 6 years and didn't reply to previous notices.
We have new video tonight of the American mother with family ties in Ohio who tried to smuggle a 6-day-old baby out of the Philippines. Jennifer Talbot is now charged with human trafficking, but she's not the only one. So are the baby's biological mother and father. Police say this is video of an American woman trying to smuggle an infant out of the Philippines. Jennifer Talbot pulling a 6-day-old baby out of a sling as she walks through security to catch her flight back to the U.S.
A female national of America trying to slip an infant out of the country, a 6-day-old infant, and the baby had no travel documents.
Talbot almost got away with it, clearing immigration and security. She got caught when she was asked about her oversized sling bag at the gate and failed to produce travel documents for the baby.
Based on the instruction on the bag, it should be carried in front in an upright position, but then it was not carried that way. So there was really an intention to conceal and to sneak out the baby.
The 43-year-old mother of 5 who lives in Utah was arrested and charged with human trafficking, handcuffed and paraded by prosecutors in front of local media, at times wiping away tears. According to the Philippines Bureau of Investigation, Talbot met the baby's biological mother, Mary Chris Dulap, on the internet. Dulap told police she wanted to offer her baby up for adoption. It's unclear if Talbot paid the baby's parents. The infant was turned over to Philippines government welfare personnel. And Talbot now faces potential life imprisonment that she would have to serve in the Philippines. The baby's biological mother and father also facing charges. Biological mother, father, also facing charges. Biological mother, father, biological mother.
U.S. landfall over Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Dorian is causing catastrophic flooding. Inches of rain continue falling, and then, of course, there's concern about the storm surge. The hurricane's already spawned at least 20 tornadoes throughout the Carolinas. ABC's Morgan Norwood is in Wilmington, North Carolina, with the latest.
A peaceful day here in Wilmington, but Hurricane Dorian leaving behind catastrophic flooding on the Outer Banks. The governor now fears that hundreds are trapped on those barrier islands. Rescue teams are rushing in as those floodwaters continue to rise. Hurricane Dorian turning deadly. Officials confirm 4 people died as the storm made landfall over Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano nearby in Nags Head.
Hurricane Dorian now making landfall just 30 miles to our south. Winds here absolutely ripping.
The storm's high winds sending water rushing down streets, swallowing cars, surrounding homes and businesses in Ocracoke Island. Rescue teams racing to the scene while officials plan to airlift survivors to safety.
The danger right now is the rising storm surge of 4 to 7 feet.
On Emerald Isle, residents picking up the pieces after a reported twister splintered homes like this one. Miraculously, no one was hurt.
It was a deafening noise. You could hear the wind, but other than that, it wasn't like a freight train, and then it was gone.
Meanwhile, in Charleston, cleanup begins. Businesses that braved the storm ready to reopen.
For the most part, we were very fortunate.
In the Bahamas, new before and after satellite images show the scale of the damage as relief and aid arrives. Rescue teams transporting some of the injured from hard-hit Marsh Harbor to Nassau's Prince Margaret Hospital.
I was buried in water like this, and my legs were trapped amongst all the wood.
And all across the island, survivors facing utter devastation.
Everything in Abaco is totally destroyed. It literally looked like we were bombed.
More than 370,000 people without power across 3 states. Meanwhile, a flooding emergency in the Outer Banks with several major freeways and bridges closed. A long day ahead for residents there. I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News in Wilmington, North Carolina.
We can take one more look at this before and after picture from the satellite images. The death toll in the region now confirmed at 30, but again, that number is only expected to rise.
Vandals did their best to destroy a Cleveland Heights community garden. Then people started calling us, asking how they could help, and the food was planted to help Nepali families feel at home. Well, now a local pastor is helping make Northeast Ohio a better land.
And the eggplants were enormous.
An assortment sowed here. Crops as diverse as the planters.
I have been over here like 5 years.
Chandra Paudillo and dozens of Nepali families moved to Cleveland Heights, seeking opportunity. New neighbors opened their doors.
It's about giving.
Stephen Walker and J. Rod Johnson made their friends
here it is.
Feel at home.
My baby.
Everyone nurtured it. Volunteers built it. there's already been 2 harvests.
We're going to rebuild it, too.
A 3rd harvest never happened.
So actually, I discovered it.
A few days back, the guys went to tend the community garden and saw something was wrong.
I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable to me.
Someone busted the gate and started trashing the place.
Someone from our church saw it on the news.
Roger McKinney called me.
We treat people like Jesus did.
Said he wanted to help. Told me his congregation at Disciples Christian Church had an offering to give.
It's just upsetting that someone would be treated so poorly.
These folks just found more friends. Roger found a sermon.
Jesus welcomed people into his life who were different from him.
The idea was to get everyone's hands in the dirt.
It redefines community for me.
Together, the community weeds out problems.
Who knew collard greens would bring everybody together?
Food for the soul.
A place of sanctuary.
Divine enough to fill everyone's palate.
Collard greens definitely would bring us together, Frank. That was a great line.
Let me find out you cooked some
line.
greens.
Wow. And what a great story, seeing everyone come together.
Everybody came together.
Well, there's a new exhibit launching tonight at the Cleveland History Center.
This right here, called The Soul of Philanthropy, is working to show how generous folks are. The exhibit showcases the work of America's black philanthropists in black and white portraits like that right there. The grand opening is tonight at 7:30, and that exhibit will be at the Cleveland History Center until December 6th.
Well, coming up, suspected sabotage.
A mechanic for a major airline admits to messing with the plane just before takeoff. Why he says he did it.
Then, one 8-year-old recounts the moment a mountain lion bit down on his head, how he was able to survive.
A salmonella outbreak involving a pig ear treat expanding tonight. The number of people now sick and the 2 things the CDC wants you to stop doing.
This is tough to see. It's all caught on camera. A family watching in real time as a tornado rips apart their home. News 5 at 5 will be back after this.
Departments of motor vehicles across the U.S. are making tens of millions of dollars selling personal information. At least that's what online magazine Vice Motherboard says an investigation just revealed. It says DMVs sell names, addresses, numbers, and birthdays to insurance companies, tow truck companies, even credit companies. Motherboard obtained documents through public records requests. It says the DMVs also sell records to private investigators in some cases, and all of this is legal to do under the Driver's Privacy Protection Act from the 90s. The DMVs say they do not sell photographs.
New tonight, the federal government says a deal between California and several automakers to push strict emission standards may be breaking the law. The EPA and Department of Justice today launching questions about a deal reached back in July. That deal would call for 4 automakers to match California's standards on emissions and gas mileage. California's proposed standards are higher than the federal government, so forcing the federal government. Could violate antitrust laws.
Former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz has announced that he won't be running for president in 2020. He posted the news on his website saying running as an independent isn't the best thing for our country right now. He says there just aren't enough people willing to back an independent candidate. Schultz also cited his recovery from a back injury that led to 3 surgeries as another reason he is ending his run.
Okay, brace yourselves. An 8-year-old boy recovering from a mountain lion attack, now talking about how he was able to fight off that animal. Pike Carlson, right there, and his brother, Gage, were playing in their family's backyard in Colorado when the mountain lion attacked. That mountain lion bit Pike on the head, dragged him down a hill, pinning him under a tree. Pike says he tried punching the lion, did whatever he could to get loose.
I did find a stick and I tried to get it in the eye, but soon the stick snapped.
Oh, poor kid. Pike's brother, Gage, ran to alert their parents. As their father rushed in to help, the lion let go of Pike and just ran off. Pike has undergone 2 surgeries and may need a 3rd to repair part of his eyelid. But other than that, he is doing okay.
And he is still alive.
Yes. Okay, so twins. That's not the most surprising part of this story.
No.
Not this birth announcement.
No. Just remember, age is nothing but a number. That's all I'm going to say, because the new mother, 73 years old, new dad, 80.
Oh.
73 and 80, there they go. Proud parents, they live in India. They've always wanted children, but it just never happened for them until now. Doctors agreed to IVF, and it was a success on the first try. The twin girls were delivered via C-section, ending 9 long months of bed rest for mom. The new family may be setting records. The mother may be the oldest woman ever at 73 years old to give birth.
That's all right.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so you know those doorbell cameras have recorded a lot of things. Check this out, including the moment a tornado did that right there. Triggered by Hurricane Dorian, tore apart a home in North Carolina. You hear that wind? The couple, thankfully, was not at home when this happened, but they noticed that the camera had gone offline. So when they looked back at that video to see what happened, they watched as the winds picked up. The twister hit, literally lifting their home off the ground. The couple says their neighbors confirmed it was destroyed.
That is terrible.
Glad they weren't home.
Yeah, but man.
Unbelievable.
Hard to see. Hard to see,
Hurricane has
Ramisha.
caused so many problems,
Mm-hmm.
but finally it's picking up speed and it's made that turn to the northeast. It is racing away from the Carolina coast, so at least that's some good news.
That's what you want to hear.
Getting rid of it. Still a lot of heavy rain, but things will improve over the weekend. So good news there. Things are already looking pretty good for us. We've got a very weak front moving through. Didn't really trigger much rain. We've still got a few showers out there, mainly down around Coshocton and at New Philly. That's where we've got the rain at this point, so I'm not expecting much additional rain. I think between now and 8 p.m., maybe a few sprinkles, a little bit of light rain for a few of you, but that's going to be about it. So if you've got plans to fire up the grill this evening, maybe before heading out to a Friday night high school football game, it's going to be pretty nice. Mainly dry, comfortable temperatures between this evening through the weekend, heating up next week. It looks like we'll have some small rain chances over the weekend, but the storm threat should hold off until next week. So more good news. We've got a lot of big events going on this weekend, including the Browns' first regular season game Sunday afternoon. As far as temperatures right now, feeling comfortable out there. Most spots sitting in the 70s. Clouds a bit thicker than they were yesterday. Remember yesterday, very bright, lots of sunshine, but with that front moving through, the clouds have gotten a bit thicker in spots, but still there have been some good areas where we've had more sunshine, so certainly it has not been completely dreary out there. So we've had kind of a mix of clouds and sun for today. Temperatures will be comfortable for this evening, 66 degrees by 9. We should be completely dry by then. Nice football weather. If you are heading out to a high school football game, you may need the light jacket, maybe for the second part of the game, but that's going to be about it. Here's a look at Dorian finally starting to move away from the U.S. East Coast. We've still got a lot of heavy rain, a lot of flooding issues, still some strong wind gusts, but it will be moving away from the U.S., and we've got to deal with this front over the next several hours as it makes its way across northeast Ohio. But the chance for rain should start to come to an end over the next few hours, most of the night staying dry. Maybe a few sprinkles for tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. I think most of your Saturday dry. Most of your dry. Most of your and for the weekend. Temperatures, though, nice and comfortable. Highs in the low 70s this weekend, so staying a little below normal. That means comfy temps if you're heading out to First Energy Stadium this Sunday during the afternoon. Kickoff right around 1 p.m. Feeling great, 69 degrees, low 70s by the fourth quarter, so it is going to be a party out there. Exciting atmosphere. I know so many folks excited about the Browns' first game. Football finally back, regular season action.
Well, we have a lot more coming up for you, all new tonight, including a harrowing tale from a U.S. postal worker. He told an elaborate story of being attacked, ripped from his mail truck, even assaulted. Well, now investigators say he made the whole thing up. Find out why they say he did that. Plus, things are looking up at the Cuyahoga County Jail, but that does not mean all the problems have been resolved. A new report today details what improvements have been made and where the jail still has work to do. All of that coming up tonight, all new at 6. And next at 5, an airline mechanic admits to sabotage, what he did to a plane set to carry 150 people overseas.
All right, this really is terrifying because a mechanic for American Airlines is accused of trying to sabotage a plane just before takeoff. He is now in custody. That plane was supposed to fly from Miami to the Bahamas, in July with 150 people on board, but never took off. Investigators say the mechanic damaged an instrument that reports the plane's speed. The suspect admitted to sabotaging it, but said he didn't mean to hurt anyone. He was mad about a union contract dispute.
A salmonella outbreak connected to pig-eared dog treats has now sickened 143 people in the country. That is the latest update from the CDC. The agency says that includes 8 cases. The agency says the CDC warning dog owners to stop feeding the treats to their dogs and don't even touch them. There have been a number of recalls related to this. Stay with us, because coming up, an Ohio man says his marijuana was stolen by the police. What he did to try and get it back.
And filling up your cooler with this popular drink might be hard. The reason you might be seeing less of these at the grocery store.